Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to this glorious homestead. It is a beautiful rainy morning here in Tennessee. It's about 7 o'clock. It's about 50 degrees. And it's been raining all night. So we're not going to get much logging done today. I just got through putting that diesel extortion fluid in my truck. So the reason I'm making this video, as a lot of you know, I've had trouble with my TYM. But I think it's been resolved by some steering stops that the factory has installed without telling me. They didn't tell me they were going to install them. They didn't tell me they did install them. They're just on there now. And I've looked back in some past videos and they're not on there. So, kind of odd. But I've not had any more trouble with the tractor since those have been on there. But I wanted to answer some of y'all's questions about the Kubota tractor. I've had a lot of comments. Why don't you just buy a Kubota? You know, Kubotas are good, they're dependable, and I'm sure they are. I know they are. My daddy had Kubota, he had Ford, he had Massey Ferguson. And Kubota is a good, dependable tractor. But I've got two estimates here from a local Kubota dealership. This one is on an MX 6000, four-wheel drive with a cab. Base price, $50,399. An $8,000 loader, that brings it up to $58,000. Now that's $10,000 more than I paid for my TYM right off the bat. Just the tractor and the loader is $10,000 more. It don't have the third function. It don't have this. It don't have that. By the time you add all those things, okay, it's got single spool hydraulic. Okay, so the TYM has 3 hydraulic cylinders out the back from the factory. To add them to the Kubota, 320, 401, 401. And then you got to buy the kit that goes inside the tractor that has the 2 buttons for the third function. So the third function is another option, or is an option that you have to buy on the Kubota. The 3 hydraulics out the back is an option that you have to add on. All those things add up. And I told the guy doing the quote, I said, it's going to be about $65,000. He said, no, it won't be that much. Well, it is. It's $65,000. $65,330 with tax, which we're going to be sales tax exempt for farm. You're talking about a $70,000 tractor. I can't do that. I can't spend $70,000 tractor with all the add-ons. Plus, you don't have a button in the back that controls the 3-point hitch. There's not a button on the TYM. And a lot of other tractors that have a cab, there's a button in the back on the fender or somewhere that you can push to raise the 3-point hitch up and down. And you would not believe how much we use that button. I used it 5 or 6 times the other day. You know, dragging logs out, and you lower the winch down and it sets on top of a chain. and you have to raise it up, pull the chain out, and lower it back down. I mean, I'm all the time using that button to raise the 3-point hitch. And the Kubota tractor, it's not an option. It doesn't exist. MX 6000 Kubota tractor is already $10,000 more than the TYM. And I know what you're going to say. Well, at least you won't have problems out of the Kubota. Yeah, I mean, you might. Everybody builds a lemon. They're forgotten, you know, bolts tightened, and, you know, stuff can happen to any tractor. I'm not saying Kubota's perfect. None of them are perfect. TYM, John Deere, Kubota, Case, they're all not perfect. And I think we might have the problem resolved with those steering boats. And there's a viewer that left me the part numbers for those steering boats, and I really appreciate that. I was looking into it about the time that the third, or by the time the fourth cylinder bent and it went back to TYM or Tri-County, and they went ahead and replaced it. And I got it back and got to looking, and those steering blocks were in there. And I've been running it for 2 weeks now and haven't seen a problem. I mean, it might be in tomorrow. I hope not, but it might. But so far, so good. And I just want to thank whoever that was for sending me that information about those steering blocks. Oh, I screenshotted that information and sent it to the TYM engineer and also the TYM mechanic at Tri-County, and made them aware of the steering blocks after they put them on my tractor and didn't tell me, which is very interesting why they would do that. But, okay, that's a 60 horsepower tractor, or 58, 57, whatever it is. On a an M4D model, which is a 70 horsepower tractor, is $63,657. For the loader, it's $10,653. Total, $74,310. You got your third function. You got the 3 valves in the back. Add-on extras. Total price $83,373. That's what an 80 horsepower Deutsch cost. I think Kubota has got the big head. I think Kubota thinks that they can list their tractors and all these extras for whatever they want, and people will pay it. And they're paying it. People are paying it. Because they want a Kubota. Because it's reliable, has good resale. Well, I can't see paying $83,000 for a Kubota tractor when you can buy a Deutsch tractor, 80 horsepower, for the same amount of money, and it has a lever in the back where you can let the 3-point hitch down. This Kubota tractor, $83,000 cab tractor with a front end loader, don't even have a switch where you can let the 3-point hitch down. The MX 6000 don't have a button in the back where you can let the hitch down. That makes no sense to me, because I hope y'all realize, or I hope I'm explaining how important that button is. Without the button, you have to open the door, climb up in the tractor, and lower it. Go outside, check it. If it didn't raise it enough or lower it enough, you have to open the door, get back in the tractor, and lower it. That is a time-consuming headache. So as far as the Kubota tractor, I'm not going to spend $70,000 on a 58, 57 horsepower tractor. Not when I can buy one for $49 and have the third function and have the 3 remotes and have the button out the back and have LED lights and have this and have that. The TYM, in my opinion, is the best tractor for the money that I have found. As long as the steering stays together, it's going to be a good tractor. It is a good tractor. For the money, it's the best tractor out there. There's more options. They don't jack the price way up. And I know I've been talking bad about TYM. I love the tractor. It's just the steering has been such a headache. It has cost me so much money. And if those steering blocks have solved the problem, and if they should have installed those steering blocks from the factory and didn't, and then after the 4th cylinder realized the steering blocks wasn't on there and put them on there and not tell me about it, I'm going to be mad. And I'm going to tell TYM they're not doing the right thing. And they still haven't refunded me for the first steering cylinder that I broke. For y'all that's just tuning in, the first steering cylinder like blew up. It broke. It broke a bunch of stuff in there. I was like, what the heck? This wheel was going like 190 degrees this way, and this wheel was going, I mean, it was a mess. It was up there in the woods, and I had to borrow my cousin's skid loader to go up there and pick it up by the front end and chain it up and walk it out of the woods backwards. It was a mess. That was the first time. And just being an honest guy, I told, and I probably messed up, I told Tri-County that I might have hit something. And I might have broke it. I might have hit something and broke it. So that time I paid out of my pocket to have it fixed. Well, 2 or 3 weeks later, the other side started bending. I started watching it, paying attention to it. The other side started rubbing and bending. So I called them, and they sent a guy out here in the field to try to fix it. And I asked him, and I have it on camera, I said, do you think I could have hit something and bent that steering cylinder? He said, nah, I don't think so. He said, that's 1.5 inch chromoly steel. It would have jarred you out of your seat. I said, okay. So I've been working with Tri-County to get with TYM to reimburse me or refund me my money that I paid for their mistake, their broken cylinder. And then the 3rd one bent. And then the 4th one bent. This is all within 210 hours and within 6 months of time. Tri-County has had the tractor more time than I have owned it. Well, hopefully, knock on wood, the problem has been resolved with $4 bolts and washers called steering blocks. And whoever sent me that information, thank you. And I appreciate you. That's what I love so much about YouTube. It reaches out to a lot of different people that follow and that's interested in tractors and homesteading and doing whatever I'm doing. And they give you good feedback. So I really appreciate your feedback. And I think that's going to be it for this video. I just wanted to explain why I'm not going with Kubota tractor. Too expensive, not enough options. I mean, you can get the brand new Kubota tractor, about $80,000, 50 horsepower tractor with a big computer screen in the dash, 360 degree view camera like in the Ford truck. I mean, it's like driving a Cadillac. You can get that tractor, but all those sensors and computers and stuff, that's one reason I went with TYM, because they have some. There are some computerized switches and stuff in the TYM, but it's more basic than any tractor out there. And all these trucks and tractors with these sensors and these things that you turn a switch and it goes through a chip to turn something else on to work, those things are not good. They're going to go down. They're going to break. They're going to malfunction. They're going to burn out. And, you know, one thing could shut the whole operation down. And that's why I wanted to get away from totally computerized tractor. I mean, I wish I could find a massive Ferguson tractor like we had. It was built like a tank. You pulled a lever and it went through a gear and put it in drive. I mean, it was... And that Kubota tractor we had was a good tractor, but that was 30 years ago, 40 years ago. I used to ride over cedar trees bush hogging. Take the front end loader and ride over a cedar tree and chew that cedar tree up in the bush hog, and it sounded like that bush hog was coming apart. But it never broke. Every now and then it broke a pin that we had. It's like a safety pin. It broke that pin, but it never broke the tractor and never broke the bush hog. A bush hog brand bush hog. But anyway, that's enough of me rambling. I appreciate y'all listening. I appreciate your feedback. That's my honest opinion about TYM and about Kubota tractors. TYM has, in my opinion, the best tractor out there for the money with the most options. If there's these steering pins prevent it from bending and breaking, it will be I feel like it'd be a great tractor. Kubota, way overpriced. Way overpriced. And not very many options. You have to add on and add on and add on and add on. And the next thing you know, a $50,000 tractor is a $70,000 tractor. Kubota, that's not acceptable. It's not acceptable for the budget-minded person who's out here running a business and making money with the tractors. Well, I appreciate y'all listening to me ramble. Until next time, I'll catch you later.